Welcome to the Wrexham Coffee Matchup. I'm Dave.
And I'm Courtney. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to catch up on the latest news from Wrexham. From matchups to transfers, on and off the pitch, we'll share our takes on it all.
So grab a coffee and join us.
Hey Dave, welcome back.
Welcome back, and I can say happy birthday because not only is today our 50th episode, but it's going out on our 1-year anniversary of our first episode. So
can you believe
who would have thought that, one, we would have kept doing this after the first one, and two,
that we would have anything to say.
That we'd have anything to say, and that we would just be, streaming along a year later with a really lovely group of people who we have engaged with and we've become friends with and who enjoy listening to us. And so we thank everybody, and I thank you for joining me every week and getting our chance to catch up on things. This is wonderful. Yeah.
And thanks to producer Eric for making us shine.
Making the shine, yes. Or reducing the shine, whichever way it is.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to say thanks to everyone who gave me nice comments on the Extra Shot episode that went out last week. I had a lot of fun doing that interview, and it was nice to hear and to see the author, distributing it out as well to kind of like help promote it. It was a lot of fun to do, and so if anyone is interested in English football in general and just the way it impacts communities, you could look up the book Relegated. I think you would all enjoy it. So.
Very nice.
Very nice. So the third kit story never ends, does it?
What story?
The story of how shortly after...
There is no story.
Shortly after my purchasing it last week and wearing it in the episode and promoting that I had it, it was taken off sale at Dick's Sporting Goods.
It was just too much exposure.
Too much exposure. There was a picture floating around of Nathan Broadhead in the third kit, which someone said
different,
but it looks
from
different
yours.
From the one that I have, a different collar.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I don't know if the issue of them not putting it out is a supply issue. Is there an issue with sort of the design change? Did I get a kit that's not going to be the third kit? I don't know. I do know a couple other American fans raced to the Dick's website and placed their orders as well too. So a couple people
Have
I've
they
seen
gotten them?
also. One person did. I saw a picture of one of them in their kit. But I know there's been a lot of grumbling in Wrexham about the lack of information. We've heard this one before.
For the whole, for months now.
Right. And just the lack of knowing when it's going to come out. It will come out maybe one day. If not, then I have a really unique shirt.
You do.
That I will treasure.
You do.
It was funny because, a lot of us in the Blue Sky community and also on Twitter, we love following the Wrexham commentary during the matches. And we like to submit our questions and quotes. And everyone has a little bit of a personal thrill when they hear Mark calling out a comment that someone makes on social media, and he usually answers it and responds to it, and it's just another way he builds his community. And yep. I was at the airport in Chicago on my way home, and I was watching the game, and so I posted a picture of me watching the game in the airport in the third kit, and Mark comes on and he says, Dave Avery is watching from an airport in what I can only call pirate gear, and it's not an eye patch.
That was a really great shout out.
It was a great one, yes. It was a lot of fun. So I don't know. Hopefully you will be able to see and have the option, if you like, to purchase one day too. So.
And speaking of you,
yes,
there was also quite a lot of grumbling around the practice shirts that were debuted. Those were debuted. I think it was this past this past week maybe, and they're leaves, and there was this whole, they look quite fine. I've seen in some lights I actually quite like them, and then in other lighting it looked like kind of camo. Mm-hmm. Hunting gear is what it reminds me of growing up in the southeast of the U.S. But there were a lot of grumblings around, the club saying that this was inspired by the yew tree, which is one of the seven wonders of Wales, and people saying that's pretty much the ancestry leaf. You don't need to come up with this fake backstory. And so then, of course, my brain was like, how else could they have spun this? And helped with the inspiration of some friends of ours, I came up with what I thought was a really great idea, is the Southampton Spygate Starter set. You wear that so that as you're spying, you're blending into the trees, and they could sell it with a pair of glasses that have, you know, the thick eyebrows and a mustache and nose. And then for those watching at home, you could also sell it with a little bucket of popcorn.
And on the lower level of the shirt, you could put the little cartoon icon of the boy in the tree next to the tree at the bottom. Yes.
Maybe add like a place that you could hook your binoculars to. I mean, like right. There's so many opportunities. Anyways. Right.
Yes.
So there's been quite a lot that has gone on, or maybe from the club's point of view, not gone on around communication on the kits this year.
Yes, I think that the grumbling related to the communication on kits, on changes to the ticketing system, I think they're all related
on the
streaming system that we didn't know how it was going to work until 20 minutes before the game started. I think a lot of that reflects just the real excitement that all the fans have for the season to be back, and summer felt long and we're all ready to go and we want everything to work and so we can enjoy it, and it was interesting. Yes.
But also, I mean, objectively it's been poor communication.
Yes. I do agree.
Hopefully that turns its way around, but let's see.
Right. So when we spoke last week, we were just on the verge of announcing the signing of Anthony Patterson as the goalkeeper. That was confirmed a few hours after we filmed, of course. So I was glad we stuck with talking about it. So I just a little more information on him. So he was signed from Sunderland, and he came up through the Sunderland Academy. What was interesting, the fact that I saw, was that in 2020, when he was still in the youth academy, or he was on the youth team, he appealed to the then manager of Sunderland, Phil Parkinson, for the opportunity to play for the first team. And so Parky granted him his first team opportunity in 2020. So
how about that?
Then, and he stayed. He was with Sunderland all the way through their promotion to the Premier League at the end of the 24-25 season, and then he went on loan for a good portion of last season before coming to Wrexham. So he has a long relationship, sort of, with Parkinson, which kind of explains. Well, I don't know how to get into the psychology of it or not, but it does explain sort of why he was on Parky's radar. He knows what he can do. If the pre-established relationship he would know how he'd be able to work with him. So that those are all things that I think we just need to give him an opportunity to see what he can do and what he's like, just like we have with every other signing.
That does bring us to what is probably going to be the shortest recurring segment on the Wrexham Coffee Matchup, and that's Arthur Watch.
Arthur Watch, which will last probably exactly one episode unless we check the news in 5 minutes and it changes. So I was going to talk about it a little bit later, but when the lineup came up for the Cardiff match and we saw that Patterson was in goal starting, and that we see that Danny,
which was expected, that he was just signed.
Yes, absolutely expected. But that Danny Ward was on the bench, and I think that the question was always all of our minds all last week was, what does that mean? Who's number two? And the fact that Danny Ward was on the bench as the number two means that Arthur really doesn't have a place anymore at Wrexham, and so it's just a matter of time before he is signed somewhere else. And
I think he's better than a backup goalkeeper.
Oh, especially
for a
at
championship team anyways.
Absolutely. He needs to be playing first team for a championship.
But it's heartbreaking.
Team. It is absolutely heartbreaking. And there's some talk about where he might be going. We won't say it just in case it's wrong. But we're definitely keeping an eye. And I think that this is one of those losses, like some of the losses that we felt over the last year, that are just really going to hurt. because 3 seasons with the team through League Two, League One, and a really difficult season in the Championship where he had to re-earn his place. He has so much hope. He's only 24 years old. He made it to the Nigerian national team, so he's got a long career ahead of him if he finds the right spot to do it in. So we'll keep an eye and we'll wish for the best for Arthur, because everyone does love our King Arthur. They love King Arthur.
Absolutely.
Yes. A couple outgoing signings. So Ryan Hardie was loaned out to the Bolton Wanderers. So Bolton was recently promoted to the Championship. So this coming season we'll be playing against them. Already on the Bolton Wanderers was Sam Dalby. So Sam, when he left a couple years ago, he went up to Scotland for a while, and then he's moved around, and so he's really found a great position as their number 1 striker, and he's doing really well. And actually, shout out to him, because he, in Bolton's opening match, he scored the first goal, so he started off the season with a bang. And Lewis Brunt also is moving to Bolton Wanderers, so he was on a permanent transfer. So it's like, my joke is kind of like, Bolton Wanderers can be Wrexham's B team as their nickname. We shall see. But Lewis Brunt actually made his debut as well in the second half with them. So the Ryan Hardie loan, because he's on loan, I didn't realize this, but I've learned most loan contracts prohibit that player from playing against the team that loaned them. So when Bolton comes to play us, or we go to play them, Ryan Hardie wouldn't appear in those matches. So so no grudge to get subtle or anything like that. But another shout out, just opening weekend shout outs, because the last weekend was the opening weekend of the season. Jack Marriott, who's been with Reading for a little over a year, had an amazing season last year that was cut short by injury,
incredible.
but still an amazing season. He scored a hat trick in the first 36 minutes of their match last weekend.
That's insane.
That is absolutely insane. And just the pictures of him and the video of him, just elated and over the moon. It's just so good that he found a spot where he can excel and shine. I loved watching him play when he was with Wrexham. So.
That's awesome.
Yes. So on to the weekend. Monday.
Speaking of opening first match, I won't say opening weekend or opening day, because that dragged on, didn't it?
It dragged. So Monday we faced off against Cardiff City in the first match of the season. Cardiff City was recently promoted. This was, I think, the first time we had met them in league play since, I believe, 2002. Been in the same league with them, but we did, as we talked about, we faced them last season in the cup match, and that did not go well.
We don't need to talk about it.
We were not going to talk about that one. So what did you think of the match on Monday?
I have a few thoughts. That shocks you, I'm sure. Right off the bat, I thought we had a really snappy start. We, one of the things that I had talked about as what I felt was a gap from the way we played versus particularly the way that top tier teams play is the speed of passing and moving the ball around. I just felt like we were slow in getting down the field, slow in, making those changes, making those passes. And that was the first thing that struck me immediately. I was like, whew, we've been practicing. That looks great. And then, of course, 2.5 minutes in, this just beautiful Imre to Kiefer Moore goal that just, put us on the top of the world.
Yes, it was a beautiful goal. And it's interesting because we weren't sure whether it would be Kiefer or Sam Smith starting, because it seemed like during the preseason they kind of got equal opportunities, but it seemed like Parkey was leaning towards Smith more.
We were surprised that it was Kiefer Moore,
but very pleased when 3 minutes in we're up 1-0. And Imre really did come out of the gate and just impressed for the entire time he was on the field. He's fast, he's quick, he's looking for opportunities. A lot of times he was up there ready to make a pass that could be an assist, and there wasn't always someone there to receive it.
Yes, but also at the same time, last I heard, and by that I mean Mia read out the numbers at the end of the
Okay.
match. I haven't
Okay.
looked to see if anything had changed. 18 shots on goal.
Yes, and 8 of them on target. So there were
And
a
8.
lot. I mean, Kiefer had additional shots. Colin Doyle had a couple shots.
Which I also
there
have
were
thoughts on that.
we will come to that in a second. There was a couple that hit the crossbar and bounced off.
We had one that we almost got into our own goal that was terrifying.
Yes. I watched that replay. So Dom Hyam was trying to head
The replay
the
was
ball.
even more terrifying than watching it live. I
He
mean,
was
I
trying
already
to
knew
head
what
it away,
happened.
but it ended up going up towards the bar and almost in before it
Really
hit the bar
almost
and went
in.
over. It was so scary, and that would have been the most disheartening way to bring it to a tie. Other than the
Instead,
other
we got the
disheartening
second most disheartening way.
way.
What are your thoughts on that?
So one, it was clear in the second half that we needed to make subs. Right. It was time to make subs. It was time to freshen up things. Again, I felt like waiting until the 70th minute was a little bit long for most of the changes. They spent an awful lot of time
I felt
showing.
it was right on.
Okay, I thought it was a little bit late. Well, they showed Parky on the sidelines with the coaching staff debating what to do and pulling people down and pushing them back up. And so George Dobson came in, and we were granted.
We also had to do additional subs that we weren't
weren't planning
expecting.
on. Yes, yeah.
Or at least weren't expecting right then.
Right then and there, yes. But then, so because of the injury time, was it 6 minutes of added time that they added on, I believe, that stretched into 8.5 minutes. So we're 7 minutes into 6 minutes of extra time. And to prevent an attack from Cardiff, George Dobson does what George Dobson does, which is slides in to stop the ball and commits a foul right on the box line. And luckily it was outside of the box, but still they were given a free kick at the 98th minute.
Luckily it was called outside of the box.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. It was actually hard to tell. And so beautiful shot. Really no way that could have been defended. I mean, maybe unless he was 6'7".
He was so close.
He was so close. He had his fingers on the ball. But we drew level.
Not his fault that he missed it, but it was so close.
Yeah. But we drew level at the 98th minute, which then took this wonderful dominating performance of ours and turned it into a 1-point draw. Which, yes. Yeah.
So, lot of talk.
Uh-huh.
Lot of, do we want to say piling onto Dabo?
They did pile on, and it's
they also being maybe Parky.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bad decision at the moment. He was probably a little too excited, over anxious. That's what happened to him when he got his red card last season. It was one of those over anxious attacks. But is the fault really Dobson's for letting this happen, or is it the 2 or 3 or 4 or
shots,
5
8
other goals
on goal, 1 goal achieved?
Right. Like we were all debating during the match. It's like, how many should we have? And I think we all settled on at least 3, if not 4.
3.
Yeah. And
even while that was like objectively, if the foul had not been committed, you would not have had the free kick that led to the equalizing goal. Objectively, that is true. Right. However, 8 shots on goal. 8.
Yeah, it's the whole conversion issue again. It's like, we need to put the balls in the net and we need to get the scores.
That being said, my opinion is still that we played phenomenally.
Yes.
Think about the first couple of matches last year where it was clear, like, these people don't even know each other's names. They don't know how to play, together on the same pitch. We played great.
Right. And
we need to get more of those goals
right. And there wasn't a player on the pitch who had not played a match as part of the team. right? Like even Whiteman, when he came in the second half, he played last week in the cup match. Imre is now his third game under the belt, and so they're all figuring out how to work with each other. There's one thing that I do know is that I noticed. So we had Ollie Rathbone starting up, which in what is normally the Josh Windass position, right? And I noticed that I didn't see Rathbone and Imre really working together, even though they were right there with each other. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's something they need to work on if we're going to keep playing Ollie in that position. It's just figuring out. So because like Imre really can tell how to get the balls to Kiefer and to Sam. He knows how to get his own shots off, and Callum Doyle knows how to rush all the way from the back line to get off a few shots. But Ollie just kind of seemed a little bit lost in the mix, and didn't really stand out, even though he was running everywhere like he does. The Energizer Bunny did not slow down. But yeah, so I look forward to watching that develop more. Mm-hmm. And we still have 2 more weeks of the transfer window, so who knows if someone else is going to be coming in or not. So I guess it's kind of wait and see.
And who else will be going out?
Well, there was definitely a few people that we're expecting. That we hope for their sake that they do go out so that they can play. Elliot Lee would love to see him find a new team where he could be at. Connor Cody, if he's going to continue playing, it would be great to see him continue playing because he did really well at Charlton last year. Those two, I'm a little concerned about Max at this point, just because he hasn't really had much time, but I know he was coming off an injury, so maybe that will change. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on what's going to happen in the next week or two. So
yeah, but my very not expert opinion is that based on a single match, our start so far at the equivalent time of last season,
much better, miles ahead, yes. And I've seen some,
regardless of the outcome,
right?
The way that we have played much,
really well,
much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that just only can get better as we play more together. And as long as everyone stays healthy, knock on. Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah. Because I think our depth.
That's a real big if.
The depth of our team is a little bit of concern in a couple positions. So I think that's probably what Parky was looking at. But yeah, if we can stay healthy, then I think we have a really good season ahead of us. But that actually leads me to my question of the week for you.
Ooh.
So as you're talking about, how has, from your perspective, just your personal perspective, how has watching the beginning of this season for you differed than it did last year or previous years when we hadn't been doing this every week?
Well, the biggest change was that I watched it in peace and quiet because it didn't kick off at 4 p.m. for me. It kicked off at 9 p.m.
Right.
So that part was nice to actually be able to sit down
focus,
and fully be in it. I don't know, maybe I'm very naive, but I feel like I'm going into everything with a blank slate. I think maybe we watch in a different way a bit now. Now that we know that we're going to talk about it,
right,
not just via text message, at all hours of the night. But yeah, I do not have a very good answer to that. How has yours changed?
I actually think that my enjoyment and joy in watching it has not changed one bit. I never feel like I have to watch a match. I always want to watch no matter what. And I just, like you mentioned, I compared in my mind what we talked about at the first match of last season versus what we are going to talk about today. And I feel like we've always had our strong opinions, but I think we kind of think through our opinions a little bit more before we discuss them. And so that's just more now, as opposed to just shooting out the ideas. Yeah. Okay, I do. I think through. I try to do a little more research. I try to find a little backup basis.
You know me. Yeah. I prefer to just be bad at trivia and talk off the cuff.
Don't let her fool you. She's one of the best trivia players I've ever played with. So
Outside of Wrexham trivia, ask me
yes,
that.
outside of Wrexham trivia, yes.
I'll forget that Nathan Broadhead as a name and a person exists.
Right.
But other trivia, I'm happy to be on the trivia team.
Right. So this coming Saturday, August 22nd, we are back at home,
Yeah.
back at the racecourse for the first match of the season at home against Watford. It's going to be interesting, not so much. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch the match, see the energy back at home, kind of get an eye on how the construction of the new Kop is going, because this thing looks like it's massive and it's going up
Yeah,
quick.
it does.
It will also be curious because this is the first rollout of the contactless ticketing system that they're installing this year, where it's not barcodes, it's not scanning, it's touch entry like on the subway or on a bus. And there's a lot of technical adaptation that people will need to make, both on the club side and on the fan side. It's going to be interesting to see. There's been a lot of grumbling about that one.
That's a big word, interesting.
It will be interesting. They're telling people, like, just arrive 2 hours early. You'll be fine.
Are they really telling people that? What is this, an airport?
They're saying the gates are opening 2 hours early, which is normally, it used to be 90 minutes. So I think they're just a little worried about what's going to happen. But people's tickets are appearing on their phones, as I saw last night.
With the correct dates?
With the correct dates, yes. Yeah. So, and then after the Saturday, then we're back. This is our only Saturday at 3 match for quite a while. Then there's a lot of schedule adjustments because of television schedules. But on Friday the 28th, evening match against Birmingham, also at home. So the first 2 matches are at home before the next away match. So see how it goes. We had our draw. If we can knock out 2 victories at the beginning of the season, that would put us way ahead of last season at this time, right?
Yeah. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We're playing the long game here.
I know the long game. 45 matches to go. Yes, very much true.
We got time.
Okay.
I mean, wins are great, but we got time. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
You can also email us at wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. All one word. That's wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at wxmcoffeematchup.
From the Kop to your coffee cup, that's all for today's Wrexham Coffee Matchup. Keep it brewing, keep it red, and as always, up the town.